Dr. Mark here from Natural Health. Hope you're having a great evening. We've made it to December, so that's great. We can start working on or worrying about Christmas now. We got past Thanksgiving, and that's an accomplishment too. So this month we're talking about holiday stresses and eating and just the stress and emotional things. And tonight we're talking about holiday stress eating, kind of concentrating on sugar. And the point, really, I guess the big news is here. People wonder, well, why do we always harp about sugar? Now we're talking really about refined sugar, and the problem with refined sugar is there's no nutrition in it. So as we've been here for over 42 years now, we went through a lot of seasons, a lot of Christmas seasons, and we see a lot of patterns in people. And I seem to look at the first holiday being Halloween, where people start getting a lot of sugar, and then you have Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas. The problem with, I guess the big thing with Christmas is everybody takes a whole month to get used to it. You spend lots of money on it, lots of stress there with finances, and then you're usually stuck together with the family, and you have different opinions and different things like that. So a lot of stress develops there, and the point really is that why do we, if we get stressed, why do we reach for sugar? Why do we reach for that kind of comfort food sugar does to the body, or what really refined sugar is? So the body was never meant to have refined sugar. It's probably one of the first drugs, actually, that humankind has got a hold of because it's a concentrated form of energy. And so when you eat refined sugar, you're actually causing the brain to have a euphoric release of endorphins there that make you feel that rush of the energy, and the body likes it. And of course, the body can use sugar as a fuel source. The problem is when people use too much of it, especially over a long period of time. And again, that's why I refer back to Halloween, where many people, even the kids even, get lots of candy, and you can't eat all one night, so they just keep eating it for the next month. Then you end up with Thanksgiving, and you have all kind of sugar things there. And then you end up with Christmas and cookies and candies and all kind of things and fudge and stuff. And then you end up, the next one then is St. Valentine's or Valentine's Day. And then you have Easter, and just a never-ending trail of sugar here. And how that gets us into a problem of course, I'm Dr. Mark. So it gets us into a problem of that energy release becomes, like I said, a drug. It's addicting to the body. It's what is it, 8 times more addictive than cocaine, refined sugar is. And people don't understand that at all. The medical people look at sugar being, one sugar is another sugar, and carbs in, carbs out, and all that baloney, which we look at how does the sugar actually affect the body, and especially long term. I mean, a diabetic is a person who has had too much sugar long term. Type 2 diabetes is a burnt out pancreas, basically, and all the other side effects that go along with that. Now, again, the body can use sugar as a fuel source, but there's no nutrition in it, and especially the B vitamins. So then when the body wants to use the energy from the sugar, then it has to take the store or use the stored vitamins and minerals and there to utilize it and to get that rush again, to get that feeling, that euphoric high. And so we want people to understand that's what's going on with the sugar. And it usually robs the minerals from the immune system to use the sugar, the refined sugar, and especially if you keep doing it over and over and over. So that causes problems with the immune system, so then people have problems with colds and flu, and that's why people a lot of times are sick after the holidays, or sick beginning of the year, or those kind of things. And then not only that, but when you use refined sugar, the glycemic value is very high. That means that the body just absorbs it very quickly, as compared to a potato, which is another form of carbohydrates. The body breaks that down to sugar too, but it's got minerals and vitamins with it, and starch is a lot harder to break down. It's very hard. It takes a longer time for the body to absorb that, where refined sugar is just sucked in right away, even in the stomach, or very high in the intestines there. So when that happens, your blood sugar goes high. The body has to respond by pumping out insulin to get that out of the bloodstream so you don't go into a diabetic coma. And so that insulin is very hard on the blood vessels, especially at that high of a level, causing I believe what's behind the cholesterol thing, the heart disease thing. And when that insulin goes so high, that insulin puts all that sugar into the fat cells. So then you start gaining weight. All that weight comes on again. And people go through this pattern of all these holidays, lots of weight comes back on, come to January, oh, let's lose weight and go to the gym. That works about 2 weeks. And then they're weighty, heavy, and then you're getting off of the high from the not only the Christmas season, but the sugars and stuff, depression, anxiety, those kind of things. That's really the lack of B vitamins that we find here at Natural Health. And we help a lot of people with that. It's really fairly simple to help the underlying cause, not to go on Prozac and all that junk, but to actually fix the cause of what it is. But the underlying of that is understanding what sugar does to the body. It's just another drug. It acts like another drug to the body. So we really want to get people to understand that's why we harp on that so much. And even, again, the kids and the adults, it's all, part of that. And again, long-term abuse of sugar leads to all these mineral deficiencies. That's why people have the cavities in your teeth and, all the osteoporosis, all kind of things can come from that. This prolonged use of refined sugar and candy. I've had relatives that used to have candy bowls in their house all the time and just eat candy all the time. Of course, diabetic, lose a foot, then a leg, in eyesight, all that kind of thing happens when you do that. So just understanding what's going on there. So we want to look at, again, getting the good nutrients from fruits, from vegetables and meats and dairy and things like that, that the body needs. Now I kind of took the fruit word out of there because all we hear from the medics is fruits and vegetables. And so people think that that's synonymous, that fruits and vegetables are just about the same. So if you like more sugary stuff, have the fruit all the time. Don't have vegetables. The problem is the fruit has its own sugar, that's fructose. It's hard to break down for the body. It's better than the sucrose or the refined sugar, but we really want people to concentrate on vegetables. Getting good foods, good vegetables, and meats and things, actually, good foods for the body. And some exercise, walking. We don't have to be going crazy with this. I have a problem with marathon runners, and people like to do that. That's fine, but it does take a lot out of the body. And so if you're having a bad diet and you're doing a lot of over-exercising, you're going to have breakdowns. And so what we find, a lot of times people will have all these dietary issues, then they want to go to the gym to try to lose weight at the beginning of the year. They have an injury because they've removed all the good nutrition out of their body, or a lot of it, and so the body can't take all that pounding, so then you have an injury, then they don't want to exercise for the next time, then they gain more weight. So it's kind of a vicious cycle that we try to break here at Natural Health, get people to understand what's going on. And yes, you can have a little, but this living on sugar every night, after every meal, having dessert, it just wears on the body. It's very hard on the body. And then, the good exercise, good diet, breathing, things like that really help to keep the body healthy. And so when you get to be older, you're not in a nursing home. You're not on your back in bed. You're not in a wheelchair. Yes, you can live long, but then the last 10, 20 years of your life, what's that going to look like? So there's a reason why you really need to get this under control, and now's the time to do it before we get into the season and really get overdo the sugars and the baked goods and all those kind of things. We've gotten into a very bad habit in this country since we have plenty of money, we can afford to buy anything. And the people who, not only women, but guys, whatever, it doesn't matter, who are baking, doing a lot of things, making divinity fudge and popcorn balls and all kind of things that we have for Christmas. It's something we should kind of work away from that and work towards remembering to have good foods. People are trying to think they're helping out other people by giving them, candy trays and all this kind of stuff and think that's nice. Well, it's a nice gesture, but what are you actually doing to that person's health with all that sugar and stuff in there? So it's just important to realize that there is other things that people need to eat. You know, give them a turkey or something. Give them something that's good for them, and you're helping their health, helping them have longevity, helping them have vitality, rather than just giving them the the endorphin rush from the sugar and the taste thing there. So again, we want to end up, enjoying life, having good energy, and what we would call balanced energy, where it's not a whole bunch of energy at one time, and then later on you're almost depressed because you don't have any energy. And again, all the health issues, the main 3 causes of mortality: heart disease is a big problem from the sugars and things. There's other causes as well. And diabetes is the next one. That's almost a direct cause from sugar, refined sugar. And then cancer, which is just an immune system gone wrong. The body can't handle the cells that are produced in the body that go wrong. It's happened all the time, but the immune system can handle that. But when your body doesn't have the ability to do that anymore, the immune system goes wrong, then that's where cancer comes from. So, instead of looking for the cure for cancer, all we got to do is look at the cause. It's really easy to look at. So, I'm not trying to Debbie Downer your Christmas season. We just get you to understand that if you overdo, and especially if the kids overdo, that's why we have problems. Back to school. The kids can't sit still, and we have problems with pneumonia and flu and colds, all these things. And so you can avoid all that by just using some basically common sense and not eating all this sugar and refined stuff there, and having a good life, enjoying things, and being having good energy that's more balanced. So I think that's a quick little blurb for tonight, because again, we're talking about stress, but we don't want you to stress yourself out by adding insult to injury with the sugar. There's enough stress anyway. I always look at we always enjoy the movie Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase and that, and all the stress that goes on with all that in there. So pretty interesting stuff. So maybe you can watch that and you'll see what I'm talking about. So anyway, have a great week. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Chip. Don't forget, we do have free consultations if you want to find out what we do here at Natural Health. And we do a lot of dietary consulting. There's all kinds of things we do here to help people understand what's going on in the diet and how it affects the body. So anyway, have a great week. We'll see you next week, and we'll talk more about this. And here's Dr. Chip. Thanks.
All right. So new month, new series of health shops. This one is sugar. Let's keep it going. I'm Dr. Chip. And so again, Dr. Mark really did explain a lot of different things there with the sugar, again, including the pancreas, energy levels, different forms and variations there. I'm going to take a little different perspective here, just again, kind of seeing how other people kind of view things there. Now with the sugar, a lot of times we think of sugar, we think of holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, pies, Halloween, candy, all that too. But the symptoms that come along with kind of this exposed sugar intake for long periods of time, or a lot of it, is more of energy fluxes. We kind of talk about diabetes. We talk about different things that can cause degeneration in the body there. Now, again, we will talk about too the sugar, again, the energy levels, kind of more of our strength, our peaks. But with sugar is a fast burning, you'd say, energy source. Now we talk about the refined sugar. When the sugar is pulled out of food context, out of its whole food, that's when that sugar is very quick absorbs very quick into our bloodstream. And that is why we want to make sure that we're not doing that all the time. Because the pancreas, again, is an awesome organ that really helps us a lot. But if we didn't have that capability of producing insulin, which would, again, moderate our blood sugar levels, then if somebody would eat too much sugar at one time, they would almost go into a coma or even possibly death. Now, again, that's a pretty extreme, but that's why we have a pancreas. That's why we have these different things to help our bodies to adapt to whatever is going on. And so, again, sugar and food sources, again, like the fruits have minerals in them as well, so the body is able to see that that's more of a natural form, and it actually is able to bring down that glycemic index, so we don't absorb it so quickly because we have different things there. But the vegetables too are less sugar, so they usually have a much lower take on the glycemic level there. So again, just kind of more of the energy. So the sugar, it can be kind of deceiving a little bit, because when we have that sugar rush, when we have that energy, we feel like we're very strong at one point, but then it's very in flux. It's much like when a kid has sugar, they can have these spikes of energy and then these crashes. And so again, adults are very similar. We have just kind of, you'd say, adapted more to these things, but we want to make sure that we're able to notice how those things can affect us. But really is that we want to be able to kind of overcome that. We don't have to reach for that sugar all the time. We don't have to consume the sugars all the time, because a lot of it is actually put into a lot of our food sources anyway. So that's, again, going back to that, we want to make sure that our body is able to do what it needs to overcome that kind of thing. Now, again, sugar in itself is not a bad, evil thing, but we want to make sure that we're helping ourselves to where we can adapt. So if we do have some sugar here and there, that we're still, again, being healthy and vital. So a lot of times when we talk about diseases such as diabetes, heart issues, you could say cancer, different things like that, diabetes, again, is a term to describe that our body has a trouble of handling sugar. It's our blood sugar handling. So when we talk about, or when it's generally said, diabetes is something that we kind of like catch like the cold. It just kind of comes, and we were born with a genetic destiny of having this illness or this issue. But if you just kind of think about little things, or even the physiology at this point, we can see is that just like when you're a muscle and when you're working your muscles out in a gym or anything like that, and if you did that, say 2 or 3 times a day, 7 times a week, and you did not rest or recover, you're not going to be able to keep up that very long. And in the long term, you're going to crash and it's not going to be able to work out properly. That's much like the pancreas and its job to take the sugar out of the blood and to be able to modulate that properly. Now again, if we're eating a lot of sugar at one time, or we're eating a lot of sugar at a long chronic periods of time, then the pancreas is not going to be able to keep that up. So we start having a really hard time to modulate our blood sugar, and then the blood sugar is not able to work properly. We have energy dips and spikes. We're not able to take that sugar out of the blood. Again, just kind of this compounding interest. So if we just kind of look at that and say, hey, well, how did our pancreas get in trouble in the first place? And we can come back to that reasoning and say, well, let's not push it so hard. Let's not let's give it a rest. And that's kind of taking the sugar back out of the diet there. And so again, our digestive system is very intelligent, very good at what it does. But again, like we said, if one organ, just like the pancreas, is not able to do its job efficiently, then again, it's kind of this cascading effect where our body starts expressing different symptoms that can, again, be affected there. And so again, you can see that the pancreas is this little, or it's not little, but you can see this gland right there that's important, or its role is to handle that blood sugar level. Now, of course, too, our liver, the digestion, how we chew our food, everything there too, the intestines, that's kind of more of how the things get absorbed. But of course, pancreas is kind of more of your modulator there. And again, this is kind of a cooler anatomy photo here. You can see it's kind of in this area, but you can't quite see it. But it's a kind of a fun way to see just kind of how your body is there. Now, we typically, again, like we talked about the pancreas being that modulator and all that too. But again, when our digestive system is working really well, then it's able to know that sugar is coming in, or that food is coming in. And if we're able to digest it very well, then our body's able to handle things a lot better. So again, we've talked about the refined sugar. That's going into our bloodstream much quicker than you would say a complex starch. But again, when it goes into the digestive system, the complex starch gets broken down into smaller sugars, and then that's what our bodies use for the energy source. And then you could say kind of the fat and protein, again, just slower rates of absorption, which again, it helps us to balance out our blood sugar levels or energy levels. Now, why I put a picture of the brain here is that the nervous system is the nervous system or brain, spinal cord, and all the nerves of your body, again, is helping our bodies to perceive what's going on in our environment. And then that is able to help us with our digestion. Now, again, if our nervous system is sensing a threat, if it's in a drive where it's not able to digest our foods very well, then you can see that that's not going to be very beneficial for our bodies to handle different foods coming in, such as sugars and all that, and able to handle that properly in a good, effective way. So when our nervous system is balanced out, when our brain and body is well balanced, well coordinating, then we can handle those things a lot better. Now, that's not an excuse to eat sugar 24/7 and all that too. But again, it's just, again, we're able to adapt. And that's the key factor of our health, is adaptability. Now, why I put breathe on here too, is that many times when we're, getting ready to eat a meal, we're having food, you could say sugary snacks or sugary foods, holiday meals, all that. Many practices and cultures practice, you would say, some kind of time before a meal to say grace, to say a blessing, to say all these things, to do all these things. And really that does help our brain and body to get back into a sense of relaxed state to where it's better able to digest our foods properly. And so again, just getting back to our breath and actually just breathing is able to regulate ourselves better so that we can handle those foods or those sugars in a good, healthy, natural way. And then of course too, the joy, you could say happiness, you could say having fun, comedy, humor, laughter. There are studies out there to show that it's actually helpful for people expressing diabetic symptoms, that when they watch comedy or humor or laughter after eating a meal, that their blood sugar levels are able to regulate much better. And so again, that is just a quick tip to see or help you in that way too. Again, that does it for us tonight with our first December Healthshop on sugar. Again, you can always follow us at Natural Health Quincy IL at Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Brighteon, and Instagram. We're located at 2000 Jefferson Street in Quincy, Illinois. The number is 217-228-2040, and feel free to subscribe to our email list at naturalhealthquincy.com. So again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your week.